So I'm just going to talk today a little bit about Pom Pom's litter tray, what we use and how he was toilet trained. So I had read beforehand a lot about toilet training before we got Pom Pom, and some of the helpful things that I read were things like descenting the area if they have an accident outside of where they're supposed to be doing their business, and picking the poop up and putting it in the tray so they know that's where it's supposed to be by the smell. So I researched it a lot. I was quite lucky in that Pom Pom basically litter trained himself, which I know is unusual, but I basically didn't have to do much work around that. We had a couple of accidents the first week on beds. For some reason he wanted to go on beds. But after those two accidents, it was fully toilet trained in here. So I'm going to show you in a minute how I empty, clean, refill and what I use. But basically this is the setup that we use. Did start off with a slightly smaller tray, and they are cat litter trays, which I got a slightly smaller one when he was a baby because this one was obviously a bit too big for him to get in and out of. It was very low-sided. Then at about 6 months we upgraded to this one. Now this is a cat litter tray from Pets at Home. It's quite a good size, and it is still low-sided so he can jump in and out, but it's high enough to contain the hay. So I have seen some very high-sided litter boxes. I have seen quite dark litter boxes. And I find this one is just quite user-friendly. It's quite easy for him to access, jump in and out of, access what he needs. So the easier it is for them to access the litter tray, the more likely they are to use it and utilise it and make use of it. So he's just having a little rest here behind me. So basically, because he is free roam, he has run of the whole house every day. He does tend to spend a lot more time upstairs than downstairs, although he will go down during the day. He'll go out to the garden with me, he'll go in the lounge, the kitchen, the office if I'm working. But we found just placing this at the top of the stairs on the landing, I decided to do that very early on. And it worked really well because it means that wherever he is upstairs or downstairs, this is a central point to come back to for his litter tray. So he's not having to go and look in a specific room for it and remember where it is. Just he knows it's at the top of the stairs, in that room, this room, that room. He comes out here, he does his business, he goes down, comes up, does his business, and it's just really easy to find. So again, if you can put it in a space if they're free roaming where it's easy for them to find, it will be a lot more easy for them to access and they're more likely to use it if they can get to it easily. So we're just going to empty it out now. I do this first thing in the morning. So Pom Pom is up, he's out of his bedroom, and he then starts his free roam day first thing in the morning. So what I do is I just keep a box at the top of the stairs as well. I empty out every day into the bins, and we'll just empty the whole of that there. I get a little bit messy there, so I'm going to wipe that out. I'm then going to spray clean it away from Pom Pom because obviously I don't want him ingesting the fumes. But this is a it's Johnson's Clean and Safe. It's a pet-friendly disinfectant, so it's perfectly safe for him to have it around, even if obviously he inhales a bit of it or in his eating area. So this is Johnson's Clean and Safe disinfectant, so we literally just spray the whole thing. Now normally you would leave it on for a few minutes and then you'd wipe it off. You can also give it a rinse off if you wanted to, but as I said, this is a pet-friendly disinfectant. I don't use household disinfectants on it because it will be too strong if it's in the area where he's eating. So just for the video today, we're just going to wipe it off. As I say, normally I would spray clean this downstairs and give it some time to set, but it has been cleaned recently anyway, so we're just going to wipe that off there, and then that is perfectly safe for him to go into with that disinfectant, so we'll leave that there. And we've got it nice and clean. Now we come to the filling process. Pommy's just having a little snack behind there. So what I did used to use wood shavings, and I know they're a lot cheaper and better value, but when he was neutered at 20 weeks, I was told to avoid wood shavings because they might stick to the wound. So we then switched from wood shavings to these, and I've kind of just stuck with these because they're nice and comfortable. So you can get these from different places. I know Amazon sell them as well. I do get these from Pets for Home just because it's local. It's back to nature, small animal bedding and litter, made from paper. It's all natural. So occasionally he does kind of go for a mouthful of hay and get some of this in his mouth as well, which he'll just kind of spit back out. But because it's paper, it's totally safe for him if that happens. So what I do is we'll fill the base of it with this, and he really just needs a thin layer, so we're not using masses of it. We'll pad it out there. I will put it further across because he sometimes does pour pee into the corners. So we're just putting a thin layer of that on there, enough to absorb whatever happens. I then use for him, a little bit spoiled he is, Care Fresh Small Pet Bedding. I use the confetti colour. What I found was, with plainer colours and with the wood shavings as well, he wouldn't necessarily know where to do his business and where to eat, and he would dig it like crazy. He still does dig sometimes, but he would dig like crazy. There he is demonstrating. So this multicoloured bedding just kind of gave him the signal that this is where I sit and this is where I eat. So that's when he does. He's sitting around eating food. It's not in there yet, sweetheart. So again, this is £22 for a bag this size, but I don't use a lot. So literally just a sprinkling. So he just knows this is his sitting area. It makes it a little bit soft for him when he sits down, but he doesn't need a lot of it, so we're not using a lot to waste that money. So that's fine. So that's the setup I use there. Now the hay filling, there is a logic to what I do here. We use hay box hay. It's the coarse cut Timothy hay, and it's basically the only hay that Pom Pom will eat now. It is very fresh and green, and this size box, 2.5 kilo box, is only £9.99. So it is very good value, and you'll see here it is wonderfully fresh all year round. It is pretty much dust free, so he doesn't get the sneezes a lot with it. Lots of seed heads, which Pommy loves. So the way I fill it for him, I tried a few different ways and found this way works. So they really need, oh sorry sweet, their body size in hay every day. Now they're not necessarily going to eat that much. Obviously when they're younger they will eat more, the older they get they'll eat a bit less. But the idea is they're not going to eat every little bit of hay that they've got. They're going to want to pick and choose and forage around. So because this hay is quite good value, I do tend to pile it up, and I find that the more I pile it up to the edges, the more he likes to dip his head in, forage around and pick out all the bits that he likes. So it's a bit of a sort of fun exercise for him. So I fill that right to the top. And it depends on what your bunny does. So Pom used to start eating that way. He now will mainly face this way, but then turn around there and have a forage as well. And he'll tend to poop and pee sort of around this corner or this area. So that's all set up for his pooping and peeing. So what we do as well is I just put a bit round here, so that when he's at that angle, he can eat there easily. And reach it, and when he's at that angle he can eat there easily and reach it. So he's gone behind the box. That's basically how I fill it. So I will overfill, and I say it's changed every day, because if I don't change it every day, by the next day, the next morning, you'll notice it has gone flat. So if you're not replenishing the hay every day, it will go flat, and then they kind of get into the mood of not as fresh as it was yesterday, I'm not going to eat as much, I'm just going to go on protest and not eat as much. So you really do have to change it every day for them to smell it fresh, see it fresh, and then they will eat as much as they need to. So just to show you what I put on top of it then, hello Pomsy, where are my bags? I don't know, oh they're over there. Are you going to follow me back over there then, Pommy? Where are you going? Look at you. Are you telling everyone how we do your litter tray as well? Tommy's saying this is a really good setup and he really likes it. And what basically happened with Pommy is he just went in the first day, ate, pooped and peed, came out again, and whether it's the setup that helped or just him, that he taught himself, but I literally had to go through no litter training whatsoever. He just did it all himself, which made life a lot easier for me. So we do sometimes get little poop accidents, and it's mainly actually when he jumps out of the litter tray, he will sometimes kick some of it out with him. So just be aware, it can be a little bit messy, especially on carpet. I have before had a shoe rug down just to contain a little bit of the mess, but I find it easy just to hoover up here every day. So I'll just walk you back round here and just show you how I finish the tray off. So we have it this way round, and he jumps in that way or that way, that's his preference. So you'll pretty quickly learn what your bunny likes and what their preferences are. So to top it, to make it smell nice, to make him interested in it, I use a Vitalicious Essentials herbal mix. So we'll just get, again, a little handful of this. It's just herbs, rose petals, flower petals, all natural, and that's got a lovely smell to it. So I pop that on there. I also put a few forage leaves on. These are strawberry leaves. We just throw those all over it there. Just makes it interesting for him. He will eat the hay if it's on its own. If I have a day where I forget to put the forage on, he'll quite happily go in and eat his hay. I might just put a few dandelion leaves. Again, he'll just have fun picking bits out of it. Oh, he's escaped into the room. Never mind, I'll get him out in a minute. So this is a very berry forest fruits and floral infusion. It's actually from a health shop. It's all natural. It's got tiny little pieces of apple, blackberry, papaya and blueberry. Then it's got hibiscus and rose in it. So he doesn't get a lot of fruit or flowers. You'll see I'm at the end of the bag here, but it's literally just tiny pieces, so he's not getting a lot of sugar. Again, that just goes over the top, and he might just pick the odd one out while he's having his hay. So that's the setup, that's what I use. You can see occasionally we get little poops out here, but most of the time it's contained, and he will hop in and out. For the most part, he'll even hop in and out and do his cecotrope eating in here as well. So he kind of, I didn't condition him to do that. He kind of just said to himself, I'll go and do my cecotrope thing in there as well. If he's not there and he's in another room, he'll just eat his cecotropes wherever he is, but sometimes he will come and do it in here. So the other reason I wanted to say to you that I have this setup, and not a setup which I have seen people do, which again, there's no right or wrong, but I have seen people fill the whole tray with hay, or the whole enclosed bit with hay, and then the rabbit will go in and eat poop and pee all on the same bit of hay. So I've done this not just to keep it all separate and a little bit cleaner for him if he wants to eat those bits. My main reason for doing this is, how do you know if your bunny has GI stasis? It's one of those really difficult things to check every day. Have they been eating? Have they been pooping? Now, bunnies, as you know, will hide their illnesses. So if he has got a bit of a tummy trouble, he won't want anyone to know. It's just something they do in the wild. They will hide it basically to the end to stay strong in front of other rabbits and in front of predators. You found some dandelion there. You can eat those. Good boy. You've just gone straight for the forage though. It's okay. You can eat those. You can have that as well. I'll put that down there for you. So basically this setup means that if I change it first thing in the morning, and I check it during the day and at the end of the day, and then again the next morning, I can pretty well monitor in here how much poo he has done in a day. And that says to me if he's eaten enough, because obviously if it's a different type of poo, it's harder than usual, or it's runnier than usual, or there's not enough in there, that says to me, hang on, something's wrong, he's not eating enough, because it should all be in here at the end of the day. So I now know roughly what Pom Pom's norm is for the day, and if there's a lot less than that, or nothing really in the tray during the day or by the end of the day, I know, hang on a minute, something's not right, have a feel of his tummy, and then I'll go to the vet if I suspect that there's something wrong. So this just makes it easy for me as well to keep a monitor on his health. Is he constipated? Has he got an upset tummy? You'll see the loose stools in here. And it just means eating area here, pooping area here for the main, and you can just monitor what the poops are like during the day. So it's kind of like a mini health check too. So that's what we do, that's how he was litter trained, and that's what I would recommend for a litter tray setup. So he's just finishing his forage here, he's found the bag. He does have extra forage during the day as well, so he likes that. So he's just having a nibble on some dandelion leaves there, aren't you, Clumsy? You're delicious. So again, he will hop in and out of here several times during the day to eat his hay, which is great. And rabbits should have a mainly hay-based diet. So it should be 85 to 95%